Okay, in this video, I'm going to walk you through what I did yesterday, which was map out all of the places where data is stored in my own organization, and to use it as a resource to begin the workflow automation process. Because in order to execute a workflow automation sequence, you have to have a trigger, and the trigger is a data source. So first of all, this is real time, I am out and about, and the option was to, again, to document as I do, or to wait until the conditions were perfect. So I decided that what I have in front of you is more important than trying to wait until this was perfect. Okay, so let's just get started with the story of how all this happened. Earlier in the week, I started working with an execution coach, all right? And part of the reasons why I did that is because I had done my Kolbe test. Quick story, I'd done my Kolbe test, and I'd realized that I was really strong in certain areas and I needed some support in other areas. And so this Monday was the first session working with the some people call it an accountability coach, other people call it an execution coach. Support, whatever you need, follow through, whatever name you want to call it. And so what I realized is that the end game for me is building out these systems and processes and automating systems and processes. But in order to do that, I had to get organized, number one, and I had to get serious about my data centralization strategy. Okay, so with that as a backdrop, what I realized is that the first step to making this happen in a methodical, strategized way was to just do a brain dump of every single place where I had data. And in fact, I had these really ambitious plans. Tell me if you can relate to this, at the beginning of the week. And what I decided is that if I do nothing else but accomplish a brain dump of every place where I have data, and when you look at this list, you can use it as a guide for your own kind of data centralization diagnostic. If I did nothing but map that out, then I will be so much further in the quest to really go all in on workflow automation in 2024. All right. So let me just show you how in the course of a day I was able to use ChatGPT to assist with that. All right. So step one was deciding what you needed to do. And in this case, it was get organized, optimize my work environment, and leverage my support system, which is my accountability coach that I connect with and hire through Fiverr on Telegram every day. Okay. So now once I did that, I developed tasks that need to get done every day on a power list. All right. And part of the thing that I committed to is 1% of my day, or 15 plus minutes. Here it says 20 minutes, totally focused on data centralization. Okay, so yesterday what I did was just dump my top 20 plus sources of data, or where I had put all my data. And so that in and of itself was really helpful, because it just made me realize that you have data coming in everywhere. And most people think of a workflow automation sequence on a place like Zapier or Make.com as being, maybe if they're advanced enough, just one place. For instance, Google Docs or your cloud storage. But there's so many places, right? Anywhere you have data, anywhere you're communicating with people, anywhere you have stored content is a potential workflow automation trigger, all right? And so what I decided to do is, okay, I need to visualize these data sources in 3D. The old way of doing things would be to just spend an hour or two mapping out a mind map or a workflow diagram. The new way is that I simply decided to use the ChatGPT Whimsical plugin. Okay, so what type of visualization do I need? Well, the first thing is that I said, okay, what kind of visualizations are there, Whimsical? Right? I just asked it to tell me what different types of diagrams are there and when do you use them, right? And so it told me that there are flowcharts, mind maps, and sequences. And for each one of the 3 types of whimsical diagrams, it told me when it was useful, all right? And so that got me to the point where I said, okay, well, if I need to map out my core top 20 plus sources of data, let me just have it decide which one of these 3 diagrams work best. And then literally what I did is I just copied and pasted this brain dump from yesterday into a prompt, into ChatGPT using the Whimsical plugin. And what I had presented to me is as follows. Now, what I have here is a workflow diagram. And the reason why this workflow diagram just works in terms of using it for execution a lot better than a numbered list is that people are both visual, right? And they're auditory and they're kinesthetic and they respond well to text, right? So some people seeing all these colors and seeing the relationships mapped out in terms of a mind map, it's just going to be this. I'm cutting and pasting this mind map into an in-house manual. It's just such a better use of one's time and one's energy than a simple Google Doc list. But above all, every time you create better and better processes for your business, what you're really doing for yourself is just increasing the enterprise value of your organization. So now that I have this mind map that I can refer to at any given point, it just lays things out. It lays things out in terms of seeing the relationships, the colors, etc. All right, and all of that was from a simple exercise of step 1, documenting everything. Step 2, understanding the different plugins you can use in ChatGPT. And step 3 was, instead of doing it manually myself, just use the generative AI capabilities of ChatGPT to come up with this mind map. I can tell you the old way of doing things, it would have minimum taken me an hour to do this, and instead it took seconds. All right, so multiply that times 52 times a year, and you already have over a entire week of work. All right, let's say once a week you want to have a mind map done, takes an hour. Well, now you've automated it using generative AI, and you've instantly saved yourself an entire work week plus 52 weeks in a year. All right, and so let me just end this by saying that I want to invite you to similarly, step 1, map out what your different data sources are. You might not have all of these data sources, but you can use it as a guide. Step 2 is that you can use this whimsical diagram to decide which one of these visualizations work for you. And then once you do a brain dump, you can, with the help of ChatGPT's generative AI capabilities, start diagramming and having visual roadmaps available for your in-house processes, right? And then the next thing I would invite you to do is an exhaustive breakdown of every place in your organization where you have data. You have it internally and you have it externally. Because once you know where all your data is, then you can sit down and very strategically decide how you're going to execute a workflow automation strategy for your business. And in another video, I'm going to walk you through my 5-step workflow automation process that's in place now, that'll be in place for the rest of the year plus. And it starts with strategy, and then the next step is mapping out your workflows, and then after that it is choosing a data source, which is the first step in the automation sequence, right? So if you don't have the right data sources, you're not going to end with the right workflow automation sequence in place to get you the output that you want. And to execute the specific tasks that need to be done using Zapier or Make.com, you inevitably will end up doing it yourself. And so take this with the generosity that is being given and map out all your data sources. But above all, I want to encourage you to take some time every day to have your own power list and to day in and day out just execute the items of your power list. 1% of a day is a really good metric. Like, I guarantee you that if you invest 1% of your day into a data centralization strategy for the rest of the year, like, it's going to be literally impossible for you to be next year in 2025 where you are in 2024. All right. Last thing I want to say is that if you want to chat about some of these interesting ideas, I am on Telegram. That's probably my social channel of choice. You can just reach out to me by scanning me in Telegram and shoot me a message. And if you want to do a little hive minding, just let me know. All right. This show will take care and take action.